Hello, VDL Victory Draft people. This is per usual for season 5. Your power rankings co-hosts Sakimoto 24 and Goomer 22. Goomer, what's up?
Hello. I got a bourbon root beer with me here.
Oh, nice. Is that a bourbon root beer? Is that like a root beer
I just
with?
mixed I just mixed bourbon and root beer, yeah.
Oh, nice. I got a glass of. I forget what kind of. It's a Malbec, some kind of wine, but I want to get rid of it. So
I think I need to start having a drink during my games. That might be some of the issue here.
it's calms the nerves. You always get those nerves.
Exactly.
Going into the games. Even if you're so well prepped, then you're hopping into the games and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I? You know, it's worked for me. So I just think it's fun. But anyways, let's hop into the week 3 power rankings. Yeah, here we go. Some very good games this week. First, I guess let's address the kill leaders. We got new updated kill leaders. Only one of them that was in the previous top 3 remains in the top 3, and that is the tied in first place, the Alolan Doug Trio from the Kildare Crocodiles, which had a monster week. And we have tied with Toots his Moltres. And that thing is putting in work for him. I like seeing that thing do work because it's a very good Pokemon, and you don't see it a lot in V, just see it a whole lot. It's just outshined by other Pokemon, but here it's tied with 12 kills. Tied in first with 12 kills. And then in third place we've got the Primarina with 11 kills, which has also done work for the Slowbros. So, yep, killer top
That's
3.
that's pretty interesting because I don't think Otto has really gone to a game 3 yet, has he? Because obviously
Nope.
playing more games helps to get on the kill leaders. But this Primarina just seems to be doing work.
Yeah, he's utilizing it really well. I thought he had an especially interesting plan this week. So, but we can talk about that when we get to that match. And as usual, same as last week, that Doug Trio being up there is super interesting. No one talks about Doug Trio in a competitive manner. But it's shining on the Killer Crocodiles team, and they had a big week this week. So I guess we hop into the first match.
Yeah.
It was the Crushing Sylvallies taking the 2-0 over the Tokyo Terrors. I watched this one today. Goomer, did you watch this one?
Yep, I watched it a while ago when it came out.
Pretty.
Really just kind of, I would say, dominant gameplay by the Sylvallies. I think I'm not sure if. Well, here's the thing. It seemed like the Tokyo Terrors were prepped for Intimidate. They had White Herb on the Glacier. But I don't know that they were prepped for triple Intimidate. um, I mean, because not many teams have triple Intimidate, much less double Intimidate. And the Sylvallies team, if you've got physical attackers, you might be struggling because the Sylvallies they kept rotating those Intimidates, and man, it was so hard for the Tokyo Terrors, to put on any pressure. And then with the Vaporeon out there, especially bulky, just putting out damage with Scalds, like it was just too tough for the Terrors to break through.
It really was. In the Sylvallies, it's interesting because like the Glacier doesn't match up that badly into the Landers because it can one ice move and it's probably a goner. But then again, the Intimidate's annoying and it needs to be in Trick Room. The triple Intimidate, like when I was sort of glancing at the game and listening to it at the same time, and doing other things, but when I heard him mention triple Intimidate, I did a double take and I looked at his team. I was like, oh my gosh, you're right, he does have triple Intimidate. And then I looked at the Terrorist team and it was primarily, if not all, physical, and I was just thinking, oh my gosh, this is just a week where, this is just Intimidate is the golden ticket here because I mean, you're going up against an all-physical team with triple intimidate. I mean, it's a dream come true, and it was especially nice with the like the Mawile and the Landorus were actually kind of nice because, you know, the Glacier wants to use an ice move on Landorus, but you can switch out to Mawile, and it's not very effective. And the same thing with the ground move that wants to go into Mawile, you can switch back out into Landorus. I don't know if that came into
Or
place.
even Diggersby, yeah, with a ground move, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty dominant. It seems like he's very prepared. I was a little confused why the turn one of game one, the fake out went into the Vaporeon. I thought for sure it'd go into the Landorus. I feel like the Landorus was much more threatening as it takes Pikachu down to Sash and potentially breaks the Mimikyu's disguise with an Earthquake. But ultimately, I think
He might have been, yeah. I don't know. Actually, yeah, you're right. I don't know why.
I was trying to
I
think
did
about
that.
that, but I don't know the potential of Vaporeon. Maybe he was scared of like an Acid Armor, so crazy setup or something. I don't know why he was so threatened by that. But yeah, pretty dominant by the Silvalis. I
Yeah,
think his it was really just the prep. I think his team just matched up way better, at least for the
yeah,
mons they
yeah,
brought.
yeah. I mean the Terrors tried to adjust, bringing Arcanine and Riolu game two. You know, Riolu trying to set up those coachings to offset the Intimidates, but you know, with if there's one Intimidator, you can definitely do that because it takes longer to cycle. But when you have three Intimidators, you're not going to get enough coachings off to make up for those Intimidates, and it's just going to be bad news bears for you. Um, so that was yeah, a great showing by the Sovalis, picking up their first win, I believe. Um, and yeah, got to see some good action from Vaporeon. I like how aggressive the Sovalis are with their Landers. You know, there was one point I think he just earthquaked and took out like almost half the Vaporeon's health.
He did, yeah. And he was like, "Screw it, it's
Didn't
just
even
the play
care.
here." But
Exactly.
and then yeah, it was rough for the Terrors. They just didn't have a switch in for that Landers. It was hard. Um, So well done. Game two, Bolton Bashers take their second loss. No, I'm sorry. You take your first loss this season, but this is only the second team you've ever lost to in the VDL. This is your third season. Um, this is only
That's true.
third team or second team you've ever lost to. So props to Lucian and what
Well, you know,
his prep and his team.
if it's any indicator, I've only had one loss each season, so hopefully this is my one loss. um,
Bashers are hungry now.
I know Rebellion was hungry for it, and you know, this is one of those games where um, I think so. Well, part of the problem was I really needed to win game one, and I made a couple bad plays. Rebellion definitely out prepped me there. The Kangaskhan put on a lot of pressure, and I made a good read by protecting the Latias turn two, and was able to, he doubled into me, and I took out the Kangaskhan. So I was already up 4-3 Mons, like really early, but I underestimated how powerful the Articuno was going to be with that triple axial, even after Intimidate. Um, and then even though I had a free kind of switch to Walrein there, because I knew it was Scarfed, um, and because of the flinching order, so I knew it was Scarfed. And then, uh, yeah, I just, I stupidly at the end of the game, I forgot that Articuno was in the back. So I figured, if Walrein can eat a hit from Seismitoad, I can get a Surf off and just take this game 2-0. But I could have maybe protected the Walrein, close combated the Seismitoad with Hitmontop, and then maybe won an endgame with Walrein, against the Klefki, which isn't probably doing too much to it. But I just totally forgot, and the Articuno came out in the end and um, cleaned up the win. But uh, the other thing is I don't know if you've ever had games like this, but I think turn two when I protected Latias and I see this scarf uh, triple axle come into the protect. I think my brain was just so frazzled. I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do here? I was like put in a really awkward position, and it just totally threw off my like entire headspace. I think for that game, and I think so. I think that was a really good bring by Rebellion. And then game two, I tried to mix it up with the Entei. I don't think the Latias was a good bring at all, but I remember, he got the Trick Room up and he's got Bronzong Musharna out there, and I'm like, Entei isn't too threatened here. Had no idea that Bronzong got Meteor Beam, just one shot the Entei, and I was like, well, that might be a GG then. And I mean, the Wolverine missed a Hydro Pump on the Bronzong, but in the end, I don't think it mattered too much. I think Rebellion had that game. But if I was able to win game one, and then, if I lost that game three, I might be able to adjust to some of his techs that he brought out. But yeah, I mean, that was just a really good showing. I definitely under prepped for the Articuno. Did not give it enough respect, and that scarf really threw me off. So we'll hopefully be able to bounce back, though. Maybe I'll get to face Rebellion in playoffs. Who knows?
You always hope to. You always hope to bounce back. Well done, honestly. Rebellion still one of our still undefeated teams. The next game, Waterloo Warriors versus Northampton Celestials, I think was postponed. I don't think it's been played. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think the Warriors are on vacation for holiday,
gotcha.
as the
Holiday.
folks across the pond say.
I'm so jealous of Holiday. When I went to Mexico this summer, I met people from Germany, people from around London area, other people from Europe, and I didn't realize that like some of the people we met there, I was just like, well, how long are you here for? I'm here for like a couple weeks. I thought it was a long time, and they're like, oh, we're just on holiday. We've been here for like 3 months. I was like, what? I don't know. It's like, I don't understand. Can I move to Europe? I want to go on holiday. I want a holiday. What the hell? I think they're still out vacationing. Like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. But
Jeez, were they college kids or something?
no, some of them they were just like, yeah, we just worked a bunch, quit our jobs, and now we're just on holiday for like 4 months. Or I don't know.
Oh my god.
I don't understand. I don't understand how it works, but I just
Either way,
I want to be a part of it.
Sounds fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So next game was my game. I was sweating. For this matchup. And the mons I was mainly scared of was the Jellicent, the Torkoal, the Maractus, and the Thunderous. And 3 of those weren't even brought to this matchup. So my prep I was like totally mind-boggled at the beginning of this first team preview, and the Thunderous never even got to throw a move off. So because my secret Mandibuzz plan ended up working out, my faint weak armor lash out, I was so happy that worked. So, but yeah, I just kind of Archeops put in a lot of pressure game one, was able to flinch the Silvally, which I think gave him made it awkward for the Silvally and put on pressure. And then the Manitans never really got a chance to set up Trick Room. I don't even know if they brought it. I was talking to Taco after the game. I don't know if he brought it. I think he said his plan was for me to set it up. But looking at our matchup, there's no way I was going to set up Trick Room. I just felt like his Trick Room mode was so much stronger than mine, even though that's kind of what I relied on the first 2 weeks. So, because the Mudsdale was difficult to deal with, even not in Trick Room. It was still just a pain to deal with the body press and the stamina. So, but yeah, I kind of forget what even happened in that game. I know Crocodile did well. Mandibuzz put in work game 2. Milotic was just annoying and hard to take down and did some damage. The man was fine, doing damage as usual, but it just worked out. I maintained pressure and I don't know. Yeah, I got a clean 2-0. So
I think there was a couple interesting things from the game, though. Like you said, the Archeops got the flinch on the Silvally. But I think we saw later that it got the Ice Beam off into the Archeops and it one-shot the Archeops. So that would have been interesting if he didn't flinch that first turn and got the Ice Beam off. If he was going for the Ice Beam.
So I
don't know what move.
So I think he revealed later he revealed Thunderbolt. So he actually had 2 options to go into my Archeops, but I figured out later. I believe it was actually Expert Belt. So because if it was something like Wise Glasses and only got a 1.1 boost, it was still a very, very low chance it was Okoing Archeops because I actually had a little bit of defense investment or special defense investment. So
I remember when you said that. I assumed it was Expert Belt.
It may have been a slight roll with the extra belt too, but I think it was favorable. So, very nice
Yeah.
bring there.
I thought the other cool thing um, with the Mudsdale was I think he switched it in on a fake out and immediately got that stamina boost. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that was actually a beautiful switch. And as soon as I saw that switch out, I recognized why that was such a good play, and really nice call there.
Yeah.
I thought I kept talking about the whole match, thinking I had coaching because I wanted to switch out my wide guard for coaching, but I never did. So I kept playing talking as if I had coaching, and I thought I did, but I guess it didn't really come into play. I don't think I would have used
Right.
it. Nor did I use wide guard. So
I forget if it was. I think it was game 2, but I think if he had Trick Room on the Reuniclus, that would have been a really awkward position. I think.
Yeah, I was actually feeling really threatened right there. Like if he did get up Trick Room, I was actually not feeling very good about my position at all. So, luckily, I don't think he brought it. So, I don't know if I just got lucky there, but
if I see a Torkoal on the opposing team, I'm not planning on setting up Trick Room.
yeah,
I'll say that
yeah.
much.
That's why I had to bring my wide guard Pokemon because if he did set up Trick Room and have that Torkoal, I had to bring
Right. Right.
And but anyways, so I was nervous, but I got the 2-0, so puts me at 3-0, so I'm happy about that. This next game, I don't think I saw. The Conway Ambors versus the McChesney Park Slowpokes. The Slowpokes take the 2-1. Yeah, I don't think I saw this game.
I don't think they've posted it. I'm not sure if I forget if the Embors record. I think they do, but I don't think they've posted the game. But I mean, we can check the battle reports. So it looks like game 1, the Gardevoir actually got 3 kills. So it looks like they brought the Tornadus, Bristol, Gardevoir, Gudra. Actually, all 4 games, all 3 games, which is interesting because game 1, the McChesney Park Slowpokes brought their Ice Mode and then Absol and Butterfree, but Absol doesn't do too well in the Gardevoir or Crustle, so although they kept bringing it the other 3 games, but I mean, the ice mode actually looks pretty good in the Gudra and Tornadus, though. So I don't know. That's tough. Although the Crustle puts on a lot of pressure for a lot of them. Butterfree, Arctozolt, Ninetales. But either way, it looks like the Embors were able to clutch out game 1. And then the Slowpokes adjusted and they swapped out Butterfree for Dragapult and brought Dragapult game 2 and 3 and actually picked up 2 kills game 2. But the Embors only picked up 1 kill in game 2 with Crustle, and then game 3 they kept the same 4 Pokemon, and I guess they thought they could have made an adjustment that helped them out, but they only got 1 kill game 4 as well with Tornadus. So I don't know, it really interesting because I would think that I'm wondering how they break through this Crustle because Absol, Arctozolt, Dragapult, Ninetales, Alola. None of them really have good moves into Crustle. I guess the Dragapult could maybe Will-O-Wisp, but I don't know. That'd be a really interesting game to watch. I mean, we know the Embors are solid players from watching them those other games. The McChesney Park Slowpokes, do they jump to 2-1 now, or are they 1-2?
I think both of them are 1 and 2, but I could be wrong.
Yes, you're right. They are 1 and 2. Yes, because the first 2 weeks of McChesney Park Slowpokes, I remember they brought a Giga Squeezing out in a game, and they lost those games. So
yeah. I think
they never or Gigas Coughing, my bad. So they didn't use the Gigas Coughing, and they got a win. So I don't know. Maybe that mode might have to be adjusted.
Yeah, maybe that's not their frontline plan. Maybe that's now their secret pocket combo now that they're saving. So now they're going to condition us not to expect it, and then you won't prep for it, and then you'll be roasted by an explosion coughing and a Gigas. I don't know.
Special Gigas.
Special Gigas. I love that meme. Next game.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. Did you have something else to say?
I was gonna say, I was just gonna say props to the Slowpokes for getting that first win.
Oh, yep. Um, the next game, the Hidden Leaf Grim Snarls take the 2-0 over Dilfu. Hidden Leaf Grim Snarls second. I think they won. They lost week 1, and then they've gotten 2 wins in a row. I think it was 2 clean 2-0s, and they've looked pretty dominant. I don't. They prepped pretty well, although I don't think they were prepped well for the Dynamaxed Mesprit. Didn't seem like they were prepped for it, meaning that they were they're pretty shocked.
Who is?
But sometimes that's your win condition. There's no way out, and you just hope that your opponent and the commissioner are just really drunk that weekend, and they just forget about the rules. So,
especially with my capture card being broken this week, I should have considered the Dynamax option and just hope Rebellion wasn't recording.
That was be like, it didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about. But I don't think
Dilfu's face when the Mesprit Dynamax was hilarious. He was just
or the Grimmsnarls.
What?
Yeah. Shade's face. He was like very, very confused. But I think in his back of his mind, he knew that was he kind of was gifted the win at that. I mean, not gifted because he earned it, but I don't think. Yeah. Like, Dilfu does not seem like a bad player, but I don't think in those games he played well. Like, game 1 was very confusing to me. He switched into Haxorus when the Mantine had revealed Icy Wind or Ice Beam and was probably going for one of those moves into Tornadus, so it was really unsafe to switch into Haxorus, who was you really don't want to take that much damage. And then at the end of the game, when you had Tornadus in the back, he set Trick Room for the Gigalith, which was very confusing. I don't know. I mean, the Grimmsnarls seemed like they had a lot of offensive pressure, but I was confused by that.
The other thing, and I don't know how much like Ilfu. I feel like they're not super active in the server. I don't see him chat too much. I don't think, but the other thing to note is that the website or that we use for auto site, the draftleague.nl, that shows you moves like for your, like shows you the priority and the which mons get Trick Room and stuff. Those moves are based on singles, which is, I think it allows like moves, transfer moves from all gens. Because they keep bringing this Mesprit with knockoff, which is a transfer move. And it was funny if you watch the Grimmsnarls match, they say like, the Series 10 rules aren't working for him, so I think we're just gonna have to play normal rules. And go figure, why are the Series 10 rules not working? that should be a red flag right there. It's because the deal through they were bringing knockoff Mesprit, which is not BGC legal. In the 8th generation. So
yep. So
they need to maybe mix that up. I don't know. It seemed like they brought similar sets to last week as well with the knockoff Mesprit and the Life Orb Tornadus. I don't know.
Maybe it was specs though. I don't know.
It could have been specs or to you.
Couple of mistakes there. Both of those should be resolved just by using the Series 10 rules. So I've never seen it where it's a glitch or something. If the Series 10 rules aren't working, it's probably for the right reason. But I know Dilfu hasn't had a good past few games. So, but they don't seem like a bad player. So I think they're going to look for a win here. Obviously, the next week, trying to get that first win, try to get on the board and fight for the playoffs. So we'll see how they do.
If they keep Dynamaxing, it might be tough.
It might be tough. But then again, if their opponent at the same time mistakenly Dynamaxes, then how do you call that game? Do you call it off or do you just, I don't know. Let's just not something about that. Womble's sweating right now. But props to the Grimmsnarls. Next game. I just watched this World Gold Pretzels take the 2-1 over the Norwegian Armanitans. I think Gumi, I don't know if he might have been able to take the 2-0. I think he made a mistake by close combating with the Crocodile in game 1. I don't know what other moves he had. If he had Earthquake, that was definitely the play there. I
think
don't.
he had high horsepower.
But even so, that was still the play because he saw the Clefable. Now, the Pretzels had a nice... I mean, Urshifu is always hard to deal with, especially in Susten. But at least he had the Clefable, which is... Clefable, and really any of the fairy types that follow me are just so annoying to Urshifu. Because he can never safely sucker punch, and both of his stab moves are not very effective. So he utilized it well. He knew it was going to wall off the Urshifu. He positioned it really well. I thought the Scarf Cinderace was a very nice bring. Super nice bring because it outsped the Starmie. And his positioning was really well. How he's able to Scarf U-turn, get the Porygon in the safe position, set Trick Room, kind of maintain speed control. He played it really methodically, and we know that Clopsy is not an easy opponent to face. So, very big win.
Yeah, I think the Scarf U-turn was really probably the most frustrating for Colopsia, if I had to guess, because he really couldn't bring Starmie after he realized the Cinderace was Scarf, I think, and then it hits the Thwackey well, it hits Urshifu for neutral damage, and then you also just it just protects the Cinderace by being able to pivot and um, you can't safely throw a move off into it. So I think that was really a really nice bring by Gumi, like you said. And I think the other problem was Velopsia really didn't have a great way to take out the Cinderace besides Flareon, honestly, or potentially Nidoking, I guess. But um, yeah, Thwackey and Slurpuff, they do not do well in the Cinderace, and then Urshifu has a chance, but I would still say it's Cinderace's favor. But yeah, I think keeping the Flareon healthy was sort of essential. And I think game 3 too. I feel like Colopsia made a read to either he thought Nidoking was bulkier than he was, or that Crocodile wasn't as powerful as he was, or he was trying to make a read that Gumi would assume he would switch out the Nidoking because he left the Nidoking in there, and I think went for a Sludge Bomb on the Clefable, and the Crocodile just high horsepowered took out the Nidoking one shot, and without that Nidoking, I think it was just too tough to break through that Clefable. Really lost the power. I think game 2 as well. I felt like with the Slurpuff and Thwackey, I felt like there was a lot of a couple times when the Thwackey and Slurpuff were out on the field at the same time, and it really just didn't have any offensive pressure. And I mean, sure, he's got Nidoking and Urshifu in the back, but that you got to switch into a move then and take a big hit because yeah, Wacky and Slurpuff. I mean, Dazzling Gleams from Slurpuff is doing like nothing. So
Yeah, it was a grueling match. I mean, they're both just chipping away at each other and taking hits, and um,
it was a phenomenal set. One of the best this season for sure.
I would definitely agree with that, and I don't think anyone's surprised because these are two like some of the top teams historically in the in the VDL and also this season. So, props to the
I thought it was
Pretzels.
fun. Yeah. Yes, I agree. And I thought it was funny at before I saw the premiere, I saw that Colopsia. Well, I missed the premiere. I watched it after. I saw that Colopsia had dropped Nidoking, and I said in my head I was thinking, I wonder if Nidoking didn't do as much work as Colopsia was hoping this match. So, and yes, it didn't even pick up a single kill either time. But to be fair, the Clefable was Keepia Berry, so it wouldn't
Yeah.
get taken out by that poison jab.
So our next match, then here is the Sting like a Rabombi in Batista or Beastista. He loses 0-2 to the Sussex Sableyes. The Sableyes just, I don't think that, if I can remember correctly, I don't think they had any super spicy tech or anything like that. They just said, I'm going against Mono Poison. I'm bringing Choice Scarf Earthquake. I'm just going to have a solid set of switch-ins, play it safe, just make good, safe plays. And it worked out really well. Like, it was really hard for Batista to get in a good position to win. I think the only way he was going to win is if he made some big reads. I think he did miss a couple gunk shots, but I don't think that mattered. I think the Terrakion was just difficult for him to deal with. So I know he mentioned that if he would have gone with more of a Trick Room mode, that would have been better for him. Probably with the against the Choice Scarf Terrakion, but Sableye just playing well, playing safe. They just played some good Pokemon, and
Yeah.
I think it was just their game plan. Their game plan just seemed super solid. They never felt like rattled or out of position or out of place. So I don't know. They just seemed really solid.
I will say that yes, I think the Sableyes played extremely well, near perfect with the prep that they brought, and so just with the matchup and what they brought, it was really really tough for the Rabomis to make any kind of adjustment, and that is the other tough thing with Mono Poison, right? You know they realize, okay, it's Choice Scarf Terrakion. Now how do you deal with it? It's not like you can choose, a different, type. Like there wasn't much variability, and so they kind of had to go with just a similar game plan and try to play it a little bit differently. But yeah, that Terrakion just put on so much pressure. But the other thing I think that's interesting is that so they didn't bring Levitate Wheezing or Crobat, which was their other ground immunity, which kind of makes sense because the Sableyes don't have a ground type on their team. So I think bringing the Choice Scarf, bringing the Earthquake on the Terrakion was really really smart because although they don't have a ground type, the Rabomis still needed a way to account for ground type moves, and maybe I'm not sure if they took that into account in their prep and said, I don't need any ground resist because they don't have a ground type. But I think that was a really really smart bring by the Sableyes, and yeah, it put the Rabomis in a really awkward position. So that's the second game actually, that we saw. Actually, the third this week that we saw a Scarfmon really throw off the other team. Rebellion with the Scarf Articuno, Gumi with that Scarf Cinderace, and then now Sableyes with that Scarf Terrakion. So, Scarf making some big plays this week.
Big fan of the Scarf. Big fan of the Scarf. Our next game.
The other thing I wanted to sorry. The other thing I wanted to note was I did think that the Rabomis, for the terrible position that they were put in after realizing that there was Choice Scarf Terrakion, they actually almost played out of it, and they played to their win con, which was really smart. Going for that crit play rough with Skunk Tank. They didn't get it, but I think that's the sign of a good player is adjusting your game plan, recognizing your win con, and going for it, even if it is a very small chance of happening.
Exactly. Like, do I need to set the speed control now? Do I need to go for this risky play? Do I need to crit? Do I need to Dynamax against souls? It's
right.
Sometimes you gotta find your way out, and it's important to know what you can do, and important to know how you get out of there. And I think it would have been a roll if he would have. I think there was a chance. Looking at the damage, I think there was a slim chance that the crit could have. Okay,
there was, yeah. It looked like there was definitely a roll that could have.
Yep.
Could have taken.
And
so they pick up their first win as well.
Yep. So Sussex Sableyes picking up the first win. Batista getting his first loss. I liked how the Sableyes played, but part of me was wanting the Skuntank to get the final kill because I'm a Skuntank fan. No one uses Skuntank, I'm a fan. But anyways,
plus, who doesn't want a game 3?
That's true. Our next, well, the Sableyes didn't, but um, our next set was probably one of my favorite to watch, just because the Killodare Crocodiles were 0-2 and they had a big time win. And it was good to see because I think they're a good player, and they got, starting at the season 0-2, you don't like that. You're probably feeling the pressure, and then they just brought it this week straight up. So I don't remember everything that happened, but I do remember they brought physical Ludicolo, and then the Doug Trio put in work, as well as the Zapdos, which is interesting because, both these teams with these dominant Doug Trios, both of them have a Zapdos, and both of them have a Swift Swim user. So, there might be some collusion in the VDL.
Interesting.
I don't know.
I have to start investigating that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to take a win away from Rebellion.
But yeah, so I mean, the Zapdos put in work, and so did the Doug Trio. Obviously, got 5 kills this set with the 2-0. So 5 out of the 8. I think that's 67.5% of the win of the kills for that side.
Oh, with what the Incineroars brought, I didn't actually get to watch the game yet, sadly, but I'll check it out after this. But with what the Incineroars brought, Blacephalon, Magneton, Togekiss. I mean, Doug Trio Lola hits all those pretty hard.
Yeah, and it was nice, and it had the sash, which is just, I mean, it's obviously great for Doug Trio. So even that Blacephalon wasn't too threatening because it just launches off a fire move, and then you just launch back at Earthquake or something like that. So, yeah, just really well played. I wish I could remember more of the match, but I really enjoyed it. But props to the Crocodiles for getting their first win, and props to your triple little headed ground Pokemon who's up there with the kill leader. 12 kills. Yeah, I guess after that, we've got the St. Lucius Lux Rays versus the Suffolk Suicune. And the Suicune, again, pick up a win. They're 3-0 now. The 2-1 win over the Lux Rays. A grueling match. Another grueling match of positioning. And, the Suicune just have such a bulky team. I think at one point, I can't remember if it was game 1 or 2, the freaking Cresselia just would not die. They just couldn't get through it. Like the Lux Rays.
I think that was.
But that's what the Suicune's team can do. They have several mons that can do that. Like if you don't have the power or some tech to like beat them down, like he has some bulky Pokemon that could be annoying. So, and I think the Moltres.
Oh yeah,
the Moltres in the Whimsicott lead is so terrifying because just like Charizard, like the Charizard Whimsicott lead in VGC, I mean, you have two options. If you have speed control already, if you're outspeeding them, you can go for the Sunny Day Heat Wave stuff, and that's going to hurt. Or if you don't have speed control, you can go for the Tailwind. So it's just scary either way. And so it's a really nice lead. And yeah, I think Suicune played well as well. But I also think Luxray played well. They just keep playing better and better. And but unfortunately, they couldn't pick up this win. That was for Toots.
The thing was, the Lux Rays didn't really bring an answer to Cresselia. I don't know if they didn't prep for it or what, but like they did have Throat Chop on the Hitmonchan to hit it for super effective, but if you don't have stab against Cresselia, like the Throat Chop was only doing like 30% or 33%, so it was like the Cresselia can just keep moonlighting and you can't break through that. So it made it really difficult. I mean, the Cresselia wasn't doing too much damage, but it was just unkillable because there was, even with double ups, there was no way to take out that Cresselia since I don't think any of the moves they brought were even doing half damage on that Cresselia. So definitely a big threat to account for. But we also saw a really interesting situation, I believe game one, where they were playing really defensively, and then all of a sudden, with one mon left, the Lux Rays beat the Suicunes on timer because of player time. That's got to be a VDL first, I think.
Yeah, that's what you see with these defensive teams. Sometimes they can go to timer. Having us in NBC, I mean, I know that's multi battles, but I mean, defensive teams can go to timer. I guess so. I didn't.
Well,
So
it wasn't even timer; it was player time.
yeah. But which I mean
Yeah.
is still some sort of timer. I mean, um, but I think, I mean, I don't think it's there's not much more to say about that because this weekend won the set anyways. But um, yeah, I don't think I've seen that before in the VDL.
I've seen it. I've seen it once or twice online with my Blissey team, but it's very rare, and so um, yeah. I mean, the only thing you really do is just pick your moves a little bit faster, and you can. I think it's on the upper right. You can keep track of it, but it's so extremely rare of a scenario that it almost never comes into play. So you almost never need to really care about it. But if you are playing a pretty stally team, like with this, Moonlight Cresselia that Suicune have, then you might want to pay a little bit more attention to it. But 99% of the time, you really don't need to care about it.
Yeah. Well, I guess we move on to this next match, which I thought this was one of the more interesting matches of the week. Um, Mainly because there was some cool techs. I was kind of in and out watching the game, but what I did really like from so the Slowbros take the 2-0 first of all again over the Vikak and his
Yeah.
Aussie Arcanites. It was a close set in my opinion. Um, I really it's probably my favorite tech of the week is the Quick Feet Burn Orb or Flame Orb or whatever it's called. Jolteon with the Rain Dance because that was a super nice counter to some of the stuff that the Arcanites had. Well, mainly just because I'm pretty sure it outspeeds. It definitely, yeah, it has to outspeed Blossom. So setting the Rain Dance, I mean, it's perfect, especially for the Primarina. I mean, the Primarina just probably toasts in the rain. And then I did notice that the Blaziken didn't have any fire moves. So I think it was always Otto's plan to set up the rain. Um, because, if you're going against Blossom for Blaziken in the sun, like, that's a juicy Flare Blitz. You're dead. I mean, and to some of his other Pokemon
Yeah.
as well. Like, you want to be in the sun if you're Blaziken, but he just said, nope. I'm going to plan to set the rain this game. I'm not even going to do any Flare Blitz. I'll have Poison Jab for my or Brave Bird for against the Blossom, and not even deal with the fire move. So I thought it was a really good game plan, and it seemed to work. So, and it, I think there was chat about this, but I don't think the Obstagoon had Facade, did it? I know it had Stomping Tantrum,
No, it did not.
and I think it had Throat Chop, which I really
Throat
like
chop.
because of the. I mean, it's just stab dark move, but also like it would be good against like a Primarina as a Primarina switch in because it can't do that hyper voice. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, either way, the Stomping Tantrum, I don't think it took out what it was into the Blaziken. Didn't take it out. I think Facade would have been just
Well, that's
a little bit weaker. Um,
no facade. Yeah, facade would have been much stronger actually.
oh no, you're right. Yeah.
Um,
Because Stomping Tantrum would be 150.
with guts,
Facade's
yeah,
yeah. So Facade would actually been much better there.
210. Yeah, so it would have been about a third stronger. Actually more than that. See, 60 more
Yeah.
power off of 150.
Facade,
So
Facade
yeah,
guts
would have
burned Obstagoon is disgusting. I mean, that's one of the strongest things you can do. Like one of the strongest moves in
yeah.
the game.
I mean, I have to go back and check how much damage the Obstacle was doing, but I mean, compared to a super effective Stomping Tantrum hit with Facade, you're doing about 40% more damage. I mean, I think Facade on that Obstagoon could have won the Arcanines the game. Now, that's also partially due to the fact that Otto was prepping, assuming this Jolteon would be able to outspeed the Obstagoon um, in Tailwind, but he didn't realize that Quick Feet was only a 50% speed boost, not like Unburden, like doubling. Um, so a little bit of a misprep there, but he still was able to clutch it out. Um, and The Indeedee no Psychic Surge was really nice. Yeah, I think the Obstagoon is definitely the key here. Um, but sadly, you know, the Slowbros. Well, not sadly, the Slowbros won, but sadly, the Arcanines couldn't pick up their first win here. Um, I mean, they're trying different stuff though. They didn't bring the Alecki either match. It's interesting. So I think they're still learning their team and getting used to it. But yeah, I mean, Guts Boosted Facade is super super strong. Definitely something to watch out for.
Yeah, and we know Vicek's a good player, so 0-3, I'm sure he's not super happy about that start, but he knows that, he can definitely get some
Was
wins.
it?
And
I think I was gonna say I think Gert probably has the record for the longest losing streak to still make playoffs. Well, I think he started 0-3 and he kind of just wrote the season off, and then
I
he
think
ended
he
up going
might have
four and
even,
four.
yeah, I think he might have even started
Was he even
0-4,
four?
maybe. He had a bad
No,
start, but he made playoffs, yeah.
that's I
So,
mean, if it is that's got to be a record. I have to go back and check. That's just
yep. But our next game, I unfortunately did not get to watch, and I heard the Buzzwole was involved, so I like a
I don't
buff.
think
They didn't
I think it
post
was
it.
just the
Battle report.
yeah, it was just a battle report, I believe.
So the Blazekins, I think that puts them at 2-1,
Um,
right? They're 2-1, 2-1.
it does. Yeah, I'm honestly it's a little bit harder to rank them because we saw their first game against Gumi, and I thought they played pretty well. But then the next two games we haven't seen. I think they're on a backlog of their posting, but um, I think they beat the Incineroars last week. I know we didn't really have the result when we did the PR, but I think they beat the Incineroars, and then yeah, they beat the Bewares this game. But um, just from the battle report, it's hard to kind of glean information. Um, when you just see the kills, you don't know if there was a crit involved or a missed move or what type of moves they were running. So it's a little harder to rank them for sure. But I mean, 2-1, starting off season 2-1. I mean, that's good results right there.
It is. It is. And we know the Blazekins we're expecting big things out of them. So, um, yeah, well, I guess we'll see what they can do next week.
All right, for confirmation on what happened last season with Gert, he actually faced the Rabombis first week and got a win, and then the next four games he lost. So he was 1-4. So he did lose four in a row, but then he kind of wrote the season off, I think. And in the last three games, he clutched it up and was able to make the playoffs. So
I remember he barely
for all
squeaked in.
those people out there who
He
are 0-3, you still got a shot.
Gert to make playoffs last season. He slid from about a mile out and barely slid under that garage door that was closing. That he barely made it under there, but he did, and that's why you slide. But I guess we'll move into the 24. I call it the top 24, but I mean it's only 4 teams, so I don't know what to call it. Um, the
Top 24,
rankings.
let's do it.
Let's do top 24. All right, let's go through these as quick as we can, which is not always super quick. 24, Dilfu. I still expect that they can play and pick up some wins, but they just haven't been having some good games. And I think this week they just really got shown up by the Hidden Leaf Grimmsnarls. They just really didn't play well this week.
I would recommend.
And,
I would recommend not bringing knockoff Mesprit. I think that might help.
Well, well, he's not allowed to, so that will definitely help because he'll actually be able to use the Series 10 rules. But
It's an automatic loss teams, anyways.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think they should have got a win against me. I think a misclick, caused them not to get a win a game against me. So I know they can play, and they're not necessarily getting demolished, but they haven't got a win yet, and so
They're no
got them
puke.
down here. They're no puke.
For anyone who There are no PUQs.
No. The number 23, Aussie Arcanines, another team like I know Vikak's a good player. Another team that definitely has brought some interesting stuff and has shown that they can play. They just haven't got a win yet. So we got to rank them pretty low. So they're down there. Irish Incineroars, are they 1 and 2 or are they 0 and 3? I can't remember. I think they're 1 and 2.
They're 0 and well, they're 0 and 3, I think, because I think they lost against the Blazikins, but I don't know if we have confirmation on that. I think we're assuming they lost against the Blazikins. I think I heard that.
Yeah. So, they just haven't been able to pick up a win either. That's why they're down here. I mean, can't expect.
I feel like we haven't been able to see much of the game. Tough.
It's
tough to rank.
It is tough to rank these.
I think some of the Bewares are in a similar scenario. We haven't gotten to see a lot of their games, and then I think we've only seen one from each, and then we, and then their own 3. So just gonna have to wait for them to get some results, but hopefully they can pick up a win here soon.
Yep, and that brings us to number 21, which is the Bristol Beware. So I know they're dying to pick up a win, but they got to be. So, but for now, they're down here 21 with the 0-3 pals. We'll see what they can bring next week. See if they can pull it out. They haven't been stomped on. There are no Pukus as well. So, we'll see what they got in store. Number 20, one of my favorite team logos, the Tokyo Terrors. Second loss in a row. They got a win for week 1 against Commissioner Womble, and then they've lost 2 in a row. Did not personally like how they played this week and how they prepped, because they brought a very physical heavy team against a triple intimidate team, and I guess they didn't play too well. I think
this one, honestly, I was gonna say, I don't even think I could have won with that team that they brought.
I think it was the prep.
I think the game was in the prep this time for sure.
Then number 19, the McChesney Park Slowpokes picking up their first win. Still haven't seen enough of them to really move them up significantly, but they got their first win, so hopefully they can keep climbing.
I like the fact that they didn't utilize the Coffin Gigas, because I'm not sure how good that mode is. But if they can use it, go for it. But they didn't use it this week, and they got a win, so who knows? Could be a theme.
We'll see. We'll see what they got in store. Number 18, the Northampton Celestials. I think their match was postponed this week, so they're really just... Are they 0-2 or 1-1? I think they're 0-2.
They're 0-2, yeah.
But, we'll see what they have in store. I mean, we can't really... It's hard to rank them. It's hard to rank some of these teams because of postponing matches and,
Right.
So, not being able to see some of them. Then we have the Lux Rays, who...
I think this one was another one that was almost lost in prep, because they really just didn't have an answer for Cresselia. I mean, they got the win kind of luckily on the timer that first game, but they just didn't have an answer for that Cresselia, so not much you can do there.
These 17 through 13 all have one win, and it was very hard to rank them because I don't know, they've just, their one win that they had seemed really, really nice. And the 2 losses that they had didn't seem so horrible. So, I don't know. It's they all just seem like solid teams who have just, unfortunately, have, picked up a couple losses early in the season. So, and that brings us to the Sussex Sableyes, number 16. They picked up a nice win against Rabombi, and, the Mono Poison is but Beasties is a nice, a very good player, so I'd feel good if I was the Sableyes about that win. Just solid gameplay and solid prep, safe plays, just all around good performance, I think. If he can pick up more wins, he'll move up, obviously. And then number 15, Kildare Crocodiles. I think previously number 24. They got a big win, though. They got a big, juicy win, so... They move up to 15. Really liked what they did this week. So, big fan of that. So, they hop up here. Number 14, Crushing Silvales. a dominant win from them. It seemed like so. I think they picked up their first win and a big,
Yeah,
big, big win for them. So they're hopping up here as well. Um,
I think I think it was a really good matchup for them too, with the triple intimidating against that heavily physical team. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep it up, especially in games where that triple intimidate isn't very useful.
and so, yeah, and I completely agree. But and that's the thing. Like, I think that match was more about prep than play. I mean, I don't think the you know the Terrors played horrible, and I don't think the Crescent Cavaliers played out of their mind. I just think that with the teams that they brought, he played good, and it was well, and because of his prep, it was well enough to win. So, but then again, it's part of the game. His prep was fantastic, and he brought triple intimidate against a physical team. So, props to that strategy. Next team, the Embors. Show I think both of the I could be wrong. I think both their losses are no, never mind. They just seem like a team that
Yeah, you
always
got the two
they
zero
always
on
fight.
it.
I did get a 2-0. I thought they lost me 2-1, but it was a 2-0. They but they just seem like a team that can compete. So and they never seem like thrown off
Yeah.
horribly by any certain combos. Like they're always in it. So even though they're just 1-2, I think a couple adjustments and they could be 3-0. Like I just think they're a solid team. That's what it
Yeah.
seems like.
No, I agree.
At least, I mean, I don't know. I've only watched 3 games, so
Hmm.
now we're moving up into the upper half of the 24. The number 12, Batista and the Rabombis, the Sting like a Rabombi. One of my favorite logos again. Game plan pretty decent. I know he mentioned there was a couple things he really wished he would have brought, especially the levitate wheezing, but just couldn't get through the stabilizing that choice scarf earthquake was just a lot of pressure.
Yep. So they dropped a couple spots, but I mean, I don't. I think hopefully they'll be able to adjust, and sometimes losses help you figure out what to do with your team. So sometimes they can be a good thing, but
Yeah, and Batista's he's an analyst. He probably knows why he lost, and
yep.
yeah, he'll adjust. So number 11, the Brisbane Blazekins. 2-1. Haven't seen all their games, so it's hard to really analyze them. But they do have a terrifying team, ranked I think number 2 week 1, and they just had a scary
And they've got
team.
results.
And they have gotten
You know,
results. So and they've shown that they can
two and
play at
one.
least against Gumi. So yeah, so they're up here. They're up here with the boys, competing with the top 12. So our next team, the Waterloo Warriors, they're 1-1. Their match this week
I
is
think we know.
postponed,
I
so
mean,
it's hard to rank them. But they just have
yeah.
such a good team and they play well.
Yep. Yep. The one game we got to see which was from me, I thought they played really well, and you know, yeah, like you said, they got a scary team. So it'll be interesting to see that they could sway a lot this week at 1-1. Going to 1-2 or 2-1's big. It's a big shift.
It is, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with their match against Womble, and then I think I play them week 4. So yeah, they've got a
Mm.
good looking team. I think if I don't recall, or if I recall correctly, they were ranked really high week 0. So wouldn't expect for them to get some wins as the season goes on. Number 9, hopping up here slowly, just moving up and up. The Hidden Leaf Grim Snarls. Super interesting match this week, obviously. Um, I
Yeah.
love. I like what they've done. I don't know. There wasn't any like super juicy tech, if I recall correctly, but he just puts on offensive pressure, and he just pulls out wins. And his videos are fun to watch. So,
Yeah.
um, and
I thought it was interesting. I forgot to mention it about the match, but um, yeah, another reason, like Dilfu led, I think, Tornadus, Haxorus game 2, and Grimmsnarls went with their sand mode, the Gigalith Dracozolt, which I think is a really strong mode. But I mean, against a hard sand mode like that, why are you leading, you know, Dragon into Dragazult and Flying type into Gigalith? I mean, that's just bad news. So,
Yeah,
yeah, not. I mean, that seemed like that match was lost on game one or turn one almost. It's just
I, th-
based on the leads.
I think
But
he got a double kill right off the bat, if I remember correctly.
I think he did. Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly. So, I mean, but the Grim Snarls recognizing their strong mode and using it well. I mean, that's good for them. So,
yeah,
yeah,
seriously,
they jump up here with 2 wins.
good stuff. Good ninjutsu, good taijutsu. So, um,
Yep.
number 8 is you, Mr. Goober.
Yep. Took a bad loss this week to Rebellion. He played well. He out prepped me, and he showed me who the true Dragon Trainer was, taking out that Latias. But yeah, uh, I I I squeaked by with some wins the first 2 weeks, and hopefully I'll be able to keep doing that. I don't feel like my team is super strong, but I'm still hoping that I'll be able to play them well. And I've got some trades lined up if I need them. So we'll see what happens this week.
All right, number 7, the Massachusetts Manitans. I took a win over them. They still have a terrifying team to prep for, and they're still a very good team. I think I said in my video against them, or my match, I can't see them dropping below, top 8. I mean, obviously they could if they keep losing, but they just have such a good team, and Taco can
Yeah.
play. So, yeah, he just moves down a couple slots just because of the loss, but we'll see. I'm sure he'll bounce back, and you know.
Yep. Yeah, I like the stuff he brings. I think over the couple seasons I've seen him, like seems like Taco just keeps getting better, and he's definitely proved himself to be a real threat in the VDL. So, especially with the scary team he has and the versatility and the synergy, um, it's. I'm thankful I don't have to go up against him this season.
So, number 6 is the other Manitan, the Norwegian Armanitans. They, previously number 1, take a 2-1 loss to the Pretzels and unfortunately give up their number 1 spot. So, they move down to number 6. They're 2-1. No.
You know, I was gonna say they're not undefeated now, so we had to move them down. But I mean, I really don't feel like that game um, like hurts them too much in terms of how we view their team because they were facing Gumi, who was a really solid team, is a really solid player, and it was an intense match. And I don't really feel like there was any like glaring mistakes. There was maybe some little couple moves that they could have done better, but overall it was just it was a phenomenal set against two tough teams. So I mean, it's understandable why they're on the top row here.
Yeah, they're still a top shelf team, so
Top shelf team.
wouldn't be too worried. Number 5. I think it's the highest I've seen Toots rated. Toots is it's 3-0. Love how he plays. Big fan of watching his games. And Toots, if you're listening, I think you should give the commentary a try because commentary is good for your other stuff. So if you ever want to do your own games, hey, I say go for it.
You should.
He has gotten so okay.
He just
So sorry, I thought I just mentioned real quick. Obviously, moving on to the top 5. These are all the undefeated teams. Everyone in the top 5 is undefeated as far as sets go. Now, Tits, we're rating number 5 because his games have been a little closer than other people's. I think he's got a 2-1 every week. Maybe he got a 2-0 week 2. I can't remember, but his games are very close. Although I guess this week he could have gotten the 2-0, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It just feel like really close games, but then again, it could just be the nature of a bulkier, slower, more methodical team. So we don't know, but regardless, I mean, you're still undefeated. You're still in the top 5.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you said it well.
Yeah, I just keep it up. Keep it up, Tits. Number 4. It was really hard rating Rebellion. At one point, I thought he might be the number 1 team, but he's gotten some. He has had a few lucky plays, but overall, his prep has been great. He's gone with risky stuff that has paid off, and I think that's something worth noting because it's
Right.
one thing to bring sort of wild or sneaky sort of prep or sort of tech, but it's another thing for you to bring sneaky tech and then really make it work and really make use out of it.
Right.
And I think Rebellion has done a good job of that this season.
Right.
He's got a scary team to prep for. It's not like he's just getting gimmick wins. I mean, he's playing well. He's prepping well. So far, his boots are nice and fresh, nice and chilly. They're chilling. He hasn't smoked his own boots yet, so yeah, I guess just
keeping him cool.
Keep it up. The only thing I'd say about Rebellion is he's feeling. I know it. He's feeling so hot right now because he's just on a roll and he's feeling good about his team. That hopefully, if he does pick up a loss, hopefully he doesn't get to him too much because I don't know. He's just looking real good right now. So. But I think definitely looking like a playoff contender right now, for sure. And then number 3, we've got the Pacific.
He's made all of it. I was going to say, I think Rebellion's made all of his trades too, which is interesting because he got a 2-0 win and he made a couple against me and he made a couple trades. So normally I feel like you see trades from the losing teams. So interesting that he's switching up the team here, but yeah, I mean, like you said, Lucian brings some spicy tech. I know he's got some plans, and so it'll be. I'm really interested to see how he uses some of the trades that he made because I think I liked the team that he had honestly when he was prepping, like when I was prepping against him because it was really hard to prep for. But after these trades, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays.
Number 3, one of 2 teams this season that has not lost a game, and they're number 3. Otto. If you've been in the VDL, you're not surprised to see Otto up here, a top shelf team. He always drafts well. He always has good tech. He every week he brings interesting tech. You know that he is diving deep into he's going down in the dungeon and he's taking the old playbooks from years and years ago from the Pokemon players, and he's just digging up anything he can, and he's bringing cool stuff every week. I just imagine like the old guy with like the long fingers, like scrolling through pages of that old ancient text with the old strategies, and he's got so many tools he likes to utilize. So that's what makes him hard to play against. So he's doing well again this season. He's 3-0. So, yeah, props to the Slow Bros. Anything to say about that, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I think he does well with using mons that people might not conventionally see as that good in BGC2. Like, last season, the Aggron seemed to be doing well for his team and really threatening. This season, the Blaziken seems to be doing well, and I know Blaziken is more of a singles mon, but he's making it work, and he's playing well with the team, so I expect to see some more secret techs come out and some good play by Otto. Like you said, not surprised he's up here.
Yep. Number 2, I am the other team that hasn't lost a game this season yet. Although I think I have gotten pretty lucky in that manner. It was hard deciding who was going to be in this top 4 and this top 5. We decided on me as number 2. I felt decent about my first 2 weeks. Picked up a couple wins, but this 3rd week I felt really good about what I brought and how I played. So I think I remain up here as number 2. I don't know. I love my team this season, and I'm just I am very nervous about my prep, but I really like that my team seems to be pretty versatile, and I feel like even though I have brought very similar mons every week, I feel like I can utilize my whole team eventually, and I don't know. I don't have to prep for myself, so I don't care.
Yes, and that's your team looks scary to prep for. It'll be interesting that week when we face off. But yeah, I think you've been playing really consistently and bringing some solid techs, some just great prep and play overall, and yeah, you're one of the 2 teams who hasn't lost a game, so I think it's fair that you're up there.
I think it's pretty fair. I do say so myself. I'm just really happy this week that I got to do the weak armor lash out Mandibuzz. I've been waiting for that moment to be able to unleash that tech. I think Mandibuzz is so cool. My first shiny Pokemon ever in Sword and Shield. Fun fact.
Wow.
Yeah.
From a raid den, or did you
No,
just
just
encounter it in the wild?
Just encountered randomly. Dove down on me. Thought it was just this annoying bird, and it was a beautiful shining buzzard. So.
Well, I have my very first shiny in Sword and Shield on my team as well.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wait, who is
hatched a stun. I hatched a Stunfisk Galar. Very first shiny.
No way.
I was
Stunfisk was your first shiny.
in Sword and Shield. Yeah, I think I had a shiny back in like gold. I think I had a shiny Golbat, but yeah, in Sword and Shield, I was breeding Stunfisks for like I think I was just gonna meme with them on a
like with a Dynamax
on the
Stunfisk.
ladder. Yeah, and
Didn't
and
you do that?
it was like my sixth egg. It was like my sixth egg, and I got a shiny. I was just like, "What the heck?" I wasn't even going for it, and I was like, "Okay." So yeah, love me a shiny Stunfisk.
Didn't you do that online? You did like a Dynamax Stunfisk meme team and played with it. I think you did that.
I think I did. Yeah.
Dude, I love it. Okay. Well, that's freaking awesome. The Fisk. And then we have our number one team. The saltiest team in the land. The Pretzels. The rolled gold Pretzels. They've just been playing well. I think that's like... Do I think they have the strongest draft? No. Do I think they have a great draft? Yes. But their play and the prep has been fantastic, especially this week against the top team previously, the Norwegian Armanitans. They just brought really good stuff, had a really good game plan. If you watch the game, it seemed like they just were always putting themselves in a position to where they weren't going to lose. And it worked out. I think they were very well prepared. Gumi just analyzes the matchups well. He's a very experienced draft player. It was hard to decide which of these undefeated teams should be number one, and I don't know. We came to the conclusion that just Gumi's just been playing really well, and he's just a scary team to go up against, and he's been doing really well. I don't know what more to say, honestly.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, even though he has dropped a game, he did have it was against the number one ranked player at the time. So, I mean, you can't knock him too much for that. And so I think that's the other part of the reason that some of these other folks aren't up there. But yeah, I think like you said, Gumi's just been playing really well. He's got a super threatening team, and he's utilizing it well, right? It doesn't seem like it seems like he's already comfortable with his team. It doesn't seem like he's still figuring out like some of these people, me included. So it seems like he's got a handle on it already, and he's playing well. We'll see if he can keep this number one spot going forward.
Yep. Let's see. I mean, congrats. I mean, I think you've earned it, Gumi, being number one right now. So I guess just keep winning, and you'll remain up here in the top slots, the top shelf team. I guess that's it for our top 24 and our power rankings for week 3. If you haven't been doing super hot, well, turn it around. Win next week. Have a good week next week. And I hope there's some good games.
Yeah. Week 4 is a big week for these 0-3 teams, and even for these 2-1 teams. Going to 3-1 versus 2-2, or for the 1-2 teams going to 2-2, even and out versus 1-3. I mean, that's a big shift. I think week 4 is probably one of the best in the season in terms of indicators of how people are going to go forward in the season.
Yeah, I think the pixels for the blur, what was a blurry playoff image, obviously at the beginning of the season, are starting to sharpen. The image is starting to unfold, and we're starting to see which teams are looking like the playoff contenders and which ones might be falling by the wayside. So, but it is still so early in the season that we can't really tell at this point. But we'll see. Good luck to everybody in week 4.
Yeah.
All right, this is Sakimoto 24. And Goomer, it's a pleasure as always.
And this is Goomer 22. Yep. Thanks.